gentlemen, and to the family, I want to express publicly my condolences for the pain that you're experiencing and the event that happened to your young family member. We pray to God that he fully recovers. To everyone that is here, I thank you for having the interest and the concern to be here to protect and preserve our community. So I've been engaged in a lot of discussions over the last day and a half. And the last discussion, I spoke with the Attorney General, I spoke to the Sheriff, I spoke to the Mayor. The Mayor and I have been engaged in a number of conversations with the Attorney General, and I've spoken to our legislators. I spoke to the Attorney General about the lack of information and the community feeling insecure and not having any information come out of their office regarding what is happening, and any kind of reassurance that there is an independent, comprehensive, and unbiased and accountable investigation, which is what the Attorney General says this new protocol is. And the Attorney General also said that one of the reasons that there's not a lot of information that's flowing through other agencies to be shared is because they established a protocol that I don't completely understand, and we asked him to come forward and explain it to the community, and that this particular protocol has been shared with leaders across the state of New Jersey, and they agree with it, in which there is this sort of firewall and special investigative authority given to a group that doesn't report to anybody but the Attorney General. So if you go to the state police and try to get information, you get none because they don't have any. You go to the local police or the county police, the sheriff like I did, you're not getting any information from them because this independent investigative authority is supposedly sort of, untouchable, reporting only to the Attorney General. Having said that, I expressed to the Attorney General, the community is still very concerned that it doesn't have any indication of what's going on. It's not getting any of its questions answered. And so there are some probably fundamental questions that need to be addressed and that he should consider coming before the community and speaking to the community. And then I read the article today in which there was a witness identified, and realizing that there's been more than a week or so since this has happened, and that witness had not even been contacted. I had spoken to Lakata about we have other options, and one option is to reach out to the U.S. Attorney. And so I reached out to the U.S. Attorney, and I had a very lengthy conversation with him, and here's the upshot of that. I left this conversation with him that he was going to be speaking to the Attorney General and getting back to me, but he hasn't yet because I left and here I am with you. He's asked me I gave him all the background, I gave him the concerns, I gave him what the community was feeling, I gave him our desire to ensure that our community is safe and secure and is calm enough to be able to withstand an investigation if we can verify that there's a legitimate investigation taking place. That we're not a community that wants to be upset, wants to be inflamed, or we just want to be respected and ensure that justice comes our way here. And he asked me, what is it that I thought he could do, because he didn't believe that he didn't think he might be able to do what I asked him to do, which was to have his own investigation now. That apparently, that generally comes as a result of your thinking that an entity didn't do what it was supposed to do, and you're filing an action against that entity. So I said, well, a number of things you could do if you can't do that, and I'm not 100% sure you can't do it. This was the first conversation we had. I said, you can reach out to the Attorney General, you can have a discussion about what's going on, you can determine whether or not what is happening can be validated, and you can validate that process to the community through what you say, and the community could then feel comfortable that there is an independent investigation taking place. Because that's what we're asking for. We're asking for justice. We're asking for all of the information necessary to make a determination as to what happened and what needs to happen is forthcoming. And so that is where I left it. The mayor is probably going to speak to you because we were just downstairs on a call that he had reached out to the Attorney General about, because the Attorney General is interested in having a discussion with community leaders about the protocol and about what they can and what they cannot discuss. And there are things that they cannot and will not discuss during an active investigation. Even if the U.S. Attorney's Office were conducting this investigation right now, there are things that it would not tell you and not share, and many of you with law enforcement background already know that. So what we want you to know is that we're trying to reach out to every level of government. We're trying to reach out to the highest level of government. We're trying to communicate to them your frustration, your concern, and your desire to have this investigation come forth, be completed, and be able to know what is happening here. And we want them to know that they need to respect the community enough to engage in a dialogue with you. And so I did ask for an investigation. I do not think that that investigation is going to happen as of this moment, but I do think that the U.S. Attorney General is engaged in a discussion with our Attorney General. And I think that the mayor will probably discuss the conversation that the mayor and the Assemblyman Gussier and Assemblywoman Moyo and I had downstairs with the Attorney General just this moment. But one thing I want you to have confidence in is that no one is going to let this go by without there being a thorough and efficient investigation, that the information that comes out is justified.
Thank you very much, and good evening, and certainly to Ms. Jackson, to the family, my heartfelt sympathy is with you, and we're going to work hard to get answers, and we spoke privately, so I won't go through what we said privately, but you have my concern, and we are working with you, and we're working with the enforcement agencies to make sure transparent information comes forward. And like the Congresswoman said, I want to echo, I thank all of you for being out here tonight to share in this dialogue, because it's an important dialogue. And I can echo all of the things that the Congresswoman just said. But I want you to know, as your mayor, I've been working since the shooting started to try to assemble information that occurred that Friday evening. The difficulty was, and so many of you called and others called to say, Mayor, what's going on? The Congresswoman honestly told you the issues that we all face in this challenge. We couldn't get information. I yelled and screamed at my police director for information. He could not get it. We went to the prosecutor's office. Could not get it. Went to the state police office. It was unavailable. Started having calls early Monday directly with the AG's office on the lack of sharing information and why it was so critical that I, the mayor of this city, needed to have information that I could share with this community to make sure we understood who we are and we can maintain the quality and the integrity and respect of the great citizens of this city that we are. And it's unfortunate, as the Congresswoman just said, we still don't have a lot of information to share with you tonight. What we do have is the assurance from the Attorney General. I reached out to him earlier today, and I said to him, I cannot go into this meeting tonight without having a conversation with you about echoing the same thing independently that the Congresswoman said. I'm urging you to work with me to have a joint independent investigation. We were scheduled for a 6:15 phone call. That's where you saw this legislative body go for about 20-25 minutes. Downstairs to engage in that conversation, to ask the Attorney General and his staff some very challenging and difficult questions. Questions that you have. Why were the 3 young men stopped that night? What happened to trigger that incident to reach the episode and the heights that it did? What's the status that we can share with our residents in this investigation? And the Congresswoman told you in part the response. And I do get it, that active investigations, you can't share the details. I employed, along with this delegation of our leaders, elected leaders, to ask the Attorney General to come out at the least to explain the process that they're going through in this investigation so that we can understand at least the methodology that they're using to look for witnesses, to interact with witnesses. Why haven't some witnesses been contacted already who made themselves publicly available? To talk about the 5 questions that were in the paper and see if we couldn't get answers. So a lot of these questions, we didn't get good answers. But what we were able to achieve is to expedite the meetings that were planned for next Friday, that they might happen in the earlier part of the week. That we can continue to press them to give us information about keeping information available to you, our citizens in our community. This has been a challenge not only to this family, and this is the most important piece that I want to put. It's hard when your family members have been put in this position. And it's hard when you can't get information, particularly from your police leaders and your elected officials. To that end, I'll assure you, we're pushing, we're working up to us walking out of that doorway to get information that will help provide information not only to this family, not only to me as a mayor, but to you as a community. What I do want to say, and I do want to urge, I do want a transparent, full-fledged investigation, soup to nuts from the very beginning to the absolute end, on every question that needs to be asked and answered. We're going to demand that through this process, even while getting the answers are very difficult. That is a commitment that I made and that these elected officials have also made. We are working to ensure that justice prevails, justice is transparent, and at the end, we all see a clear investigation. That is a commitment that we made. And we are working to keep getting information through the shooting response team initiative that the Attorney General says is statewide, that we can get local information that makes sense here in the capital city of Trenton. Because statewide is great, but I know along with you, we want to know how does it apply and work here in our city when we're absent of that information. So please understand, this will take a minute, but we are working to get the answers that you and I need to make sure that we have a transparent, full-fledged investigation on this particular unfortunate event. That I won't delay you for your time. God bless you. We're going to continue to work hard. Thank you very much.
I'm just thankful for everybody that came out, everybody, spoke out on everything that was going on from the beginning to the end. A few people hit me in my inboxes, hit me in my texts. I'm very thankful for them, for the people who gave their statements to the lawyer and even tried to reach out to the police and everybody else. I'm very thankful. Over the weekend, they trashed my nephew. They made my nephew seem like he was the worst type of person, and the cops did their job. That's not what happened, and we sticking with that. When the facts come out, we're going to be very happy that he put my nephew in the right. He got shot 7 times, and regardless of the fact, he's only 14 years old. So I'm just happy for the people who spoke out on that. I'm happy for everybody that came out tonight. Everybody that tried to, show their love, show their opinion, this other stuff I won't speak on, how I feel about what people said over the weekend. That's that. Trentoni is not my friend. That's just my opinion. So I'm just thankful for everybody that came out, showed their love, and moving forward to find justice for Radazz. That's what we're about right now. So thank you.